Hi, everybody. Julie Hughett here, one of the founding members of PacRep Theater. Thanks to everybody for your love and support. I wanted to share a special piece, a Brian Friel play, Molly Sweeney, something we did 22 years ago, directed by Dan Gotch with Michael Jacobs, John Rousseau, and myself. Fun fact, first time we did it, I was pregnant with my daughter Claire, so that was her first play too. Okay, here we go. By the time I was 5 years of age, my father had taught me the names of dozens of flowers and herbs and shrubs and trees. He was a judge, and his work took him all over the county. And every evening when he got home, after he'd had a few quick drinks, he'd pick me up in his arms and carry me out to the walled garden. Tell me now, he'd ask, where precisely are we? We're in your garden. Oh, you're such a clever little missy, and he'd pretend to smack me. Exactly what part of my garden? We're beside the stream. Stream? Do you hear a stream? I don't. Sorry. Try again. We're under the lime tree. I smell no lime tree. Sorry. Try again. We're by the sundial. You're guessing, but you're right. And at the bottom of the pedestal is a circle of petunias. There are about 20 of them, all huddled together in one bed. They're what? About 7 inches high. Some are blue and white, and some are red, and a few have big red cheeky faces. Touch them. And he'd bend over, holding me almost upside down, and I'd have to count them and smell them and feel their velvet leaves and their sticky stems. Then he'd test me. Tell me now, Molly, what did you see? Petunias. How many petunias did you see? 20. Color? Blue and white and pink and red. Good. And what shape is their bed? It's a circle. Splendid. Passed with flying colors. You are a clever lady. To have got it right for him, and to hear the delight in his voice gave me such pleasure. And then we'd move on to his rose bed, and his herb bed, and his ageratum, and his azaleas, and his irises, and his sedum. And when we came to his nemophilia, he always said the same thing. Nemophilia are sometimes called baby blue eyes. I know you can't see them, but they have beautiful blue eyes just like you. You're my nemophilia. Then we'd move on to the shrubs and trees and perform the same ritual of naming and counting and touching and smelling. And when our tour had ended, he'd kiss my right cheek and then my left cheek with that old world formality with which he did everything. And I loved that because his whiskey breath made my head giddy for a second. Excellent, excellent testimony. We'll adjourn until tomorrow. Then, if Mother were in hospital with her nerves, he and I would make our own meal. But if she were at home, she'd appear at the front door, always in her headscarf and Wellingtons, and shout, Molly, Daddy, dinner. I never heard her call him anything but Daddy, and the word always seemed to have a mocking edge. And he'd say, even scholars must eat. Let us join your mother. And sometimes, before we'd enter the huge echoing house, sometimes he'd pull me to him and press his mouth against my ear and whisper with fierce urgency, I promise you, my darling, you're not missing a lot, not a lot at all. Trust me. Of course I trusted him, completely. But late at night, listening to Mother and him fight their weary war downstairs, then hearing him grope his way unsteadily to bed, I wondered what he meant. And it was only when I was about the same age as he was then, it was only then that I thought perhaps I was beginning to understand. But that was many, many years later, and by then Mother and he were long dead, and the old echoing house was gone, and I had been married to Frank for over 2 years. And by then, too, I had had the operation on the first eye.